Hello and welcome. These are horse racing selections for Wednesday, the 21st of May. I am flatcapcallum and I'm hoping you are all very, very well. Alright, I've been away for a few days. Well, I've been away, I've just been away off YouTube for a few days. So we're starting our week on a Wednesday. We finished on Saturday last week. Yeah, wasn't much doing. Nothing at all Sunday. I didn't have a bet Sunday. Did I have a bet? No, didn't. I didn't have a bet. Well, no, there was nothing for the channel. I don't think I had a bet at all on Sunday. Monday didn't do very much. Tuesday didn't do very much. But there wasn't anything viable for channel video, and it absolutely suited me to have a few days away because last week was garbage. Yeah, just garbage. I think we were minus 58 quid last week. ROI was minus something terrible, minus 87%. That was over 5 days. Yeah, worst loss week outside of Cheltenham this year, and worst ROI week. So, on the back of the 3 other weeks that weren't very good, really just not what I wanted. Not what any one of you wanted either. So, yeah, sometimes it's good. Have a break, freshen up. Done a little bit, well, a little bit of running. So that's always good because I sort of keep falling out of that. Somebody has suggested that the downturn of form coincides with me started eating salad, and that's not gone unnoticed. So the salad is continuing. Maybe eating salad is, people believe it's good for you, but maybe it's messing with my judgment. I don't know. I don't know. It could be the salad messing with my judgment. Yeah, eating salad and less bread and not any sweets either. Eating chocolate but no sweets. Could be it. No cafe bought coffees either as well. I'm just drinking do it yourself coffees. So there's been a few dietary changes, and maybe my brain is just not on it. I don't know. But yeah, it's not. We're not in great shape, are we, for the channel stats? Are we? So yeah. So what do we do? What do we do Wednesday? What do we do? Do we sort of sharpen it all up, and do we just be very careful? That's not what I've done on here, and it's not what I've ever done. I just do what I do each day. I look at it fresh. What is it? What would I play? What hits the value mark? I've gone a bit old school, and some would say gung ho. So it's a bit Marmite, isn't it? People are going to like the approach, or they're not going to like the approach. But it's 21.75 is the play for Wednesday. It's 4 bets. Everyone just thought it was Quiet Wednesday, but 21.75 4 bets. It's the one that surprised me the most is I've actually pulled out an each way Yankee and air, 4 horses at air. That's where I've spent a lot more time than I expected to. I've got one forecast which is at air. I've got a combination win double, which I don't remember the last time I did it on the channel. And I did have a debate because I've sort of said to myself, I'm trying to stick with the each way stuff. And this is not a precursor to me bringing back win tricksies and stuff from old, but I felt like it was playable. So we will try the win double combination, and then in the evening I've got 4 horses, 3 races each way doubles treble combination across Kempton and Gowran Park, which is where I thought I was going to be spending more time for the channel. So you make your own choices, right? My bed is full of £21.75 worth of betting slips that I've outlaid in the name of the channel. Obviously, that's just to remind you, that's channel stakes. That's what I'm putting out in the channel. What I do myself outside of that is different, but legitimately, it's important to add this. I do bet all of these horses myself and do all sorts of other stuff in terms of what I'm doing, but for the channel, I specifically place where I can find a bookmaker that would take the bet off me. I'll put down these exact £21.75 worth of bets. So that does, everything gets placed for the channel as well. Right, so there's other stuff I'm sure I've got to talk about. We'll see where we get to, but there's obviously 4 bets to get through. We'll do the review of Saturday, which was obviously not very good. No good. That left Jamie Spencer in the stalls. I think it was second with no jockey on. Does that count? Obviously, Fringell Dyke 15-2. That's brought you all to the money counter, didn't it? Second. Kingdom Come did not come anywhere, and Reed no good. So it was a refund on that, and then a place on the Canadian or something. That was £2.29 back. I think there was a 3.6. Someone said it to me. 3.65 they used, and they didn't get refunded. As far as I can see, that City of York counted as a. It wasn't even like a sort of. Some bookies using discretion. It did get counted as a refund. So if you didn't get refunded on that, you want to query it with your bookmaker. And then we had the forecast. So for the second forecast, and very technically speaking, the last forecast we had horses that were second or third. That was second with no jockey. That was officially second. So that was refunded with most bookies. Some bookies will pay that out as a loss because when there's a non-runner in forecast, some move on there. But we had this conversation last time I placed forecast for the channel. Most bookies, but not all, the majority of them would refund that. There are some that would have rolled it onto a single on the horse that was left over. All right, so 21.75 on Wednesday the 21st. Some people, after a bad run, they reduce their stakes. Some people reduce their selection count. Some people chase. I don't do any of those things. Just play each day, right? So 21.75. That's what I'm playing for the channel. Okay, here we go. Oh yes. By the way, bet one is a Bahamas bet. For those of you uninitiated, Bahamas bet is the mythological unicorn bet. At some point, we may hit on the channel. Where it was worth £5,000 or more, because £5,000 or more is a threshold where everybody on the channel would go to the Bahamas to celebrate. It's not an organised trip, by the way, and other Caribbean islands are available. But this is what you would call an outrageous 4 zebra bet. Let me talk you through how this has come to be. And one note, bottom one, not starred. I've made an exception. 2 o'clock air, Classy Owl, 6 runner. It basically is a 6 runner. It's massively outsider on odds, but that is not the case on actual historical form. It's been out of form. First 2 runs this season have been ropey, and Rhys Elliott is not a jockey from a stats point of view that you want to be excited about. And I've got him on 2 horses in this bet, but we want Rhys to have a good day. Come on, Rhys, if you're watching. We're on you this day on the channel, so do us a favour. Anyway, Classy Owl, Jim Goldie second string. It's running against stablemate Eternal Sunshine for like the 4th time in 5 runs, and every single time Eternal Sunshine has beaten it. So yeah, I'm really, really selling it, aren't I? On back form, that horse should not be that price, but we need a bit of a bounce back. And in a 6-runner race where the pace isn't always reliable, funny things happen. And yes, I believe, well not believe, that horse, it shouldn't be the price it is. Whether it's good enough on the day to get in the top 2 might be a bit of a stretch. That's where I'm playing it. So Classy Out is in. 3 o'clock air, Heritor. Unexposed horse, don't put these in very often. This is another Rhys Elliott one. This one is not Jim Goldie, this is Mike R. Smith. I think this is just overlooked. That's my read of it. You never can quite tell with these ones that are kind of making handicap debuts. A 4-year-old making a handicap debut. It only had its last maiden a few weeks ago. And I actually think the form of that maiden is better than it looks. When I've gone through and looked at other horses it's run against and stuff, I've calculated the handicap market. It should be about £6 higher. So let's see how we get on. But I think that horse could be well handicapped. On its first 2 runs, it literally didn't even run. It might as well have just walked. But last time, which is the first run of the season, it was okay in terms of in the context of the race. So I think that's worth playing. Heritor 405. I mean, it's literally like a rogues gallery. I'm talking this through like this is the usual suspects in it. 4 air. Sophisticate. Second run after an 18-month gap, so it was off the track for 18 months. Last time it was 9th of 10th over course and distance. So why the heck do I think it's a good bet today? Well, I think if you watch that race back last time, Amy Wall was riding it, and she definitely came into some trouble when she was trying to progress the horse forward. The front two went miles clear, so the third horse was 8 lengths behind the first horse. So if you think 10 runners, third horse 8 lengths, this horse was only 7 lengths, and 7 lengths behind third. Once I think it was clear that it wasn't getting any sort of clear run, why are you going to keep pushing the horse? And if it should, by all intents and purposes, kick on from that last run after being off for 18 months, I think it's a good price. That one is in. And then the one that's not starred, 442 Air, I had some debate because basically this is the bet I was going to do for myself, and the 3 of them hit starred and this one didn't. And it's a horse I've backed a number of times. It just needs the right race. It needs the right pace up front. So it's a hold-up horse, and it needs the gaps and it needs the pace. We've got a slightly bigger field than some of the runs it's done in recently. I don't have a problem with 7 furlongs, even though it is a bit of a slow starter, and some bits of form suggest to you that a mile is overall better. It's got Kieran O'Neill booked to ride it, which is an interesting jockey booking. He's in good form as well. I on balance, although there's quite a few horses in the race that are well handicapped, I just think from a pricing point of view, there's too much. It's too big. It's way too big. It should be about half that odds. So I've decided I'd play it, and we'll do the full Yankee at Air. 25p each way Yankee, 50p each way singles. Sky is your best bet on the last leg. I think they're an extra place that everyone else is the same on the others. It was 9.50. 2 places on that one. If we manage to get that, that's profitable for a bet like that. 3, and we'd be really happy. 4, we're dancing. It managed to get a couple of winners by Eck. Then we'll see. But 2 places for a profit. That's what we need off that bet. But some would say, what are you doing? Have you been smoking something tonight? Because why would you put out 4 horses like that when most of them are the rank outsider of the races and have all got massive question marks? I'm they get the Queen's speech. I'm the alternative one. That's how it works. King's speech. So I've gone a bit retro then. Right. Win double combination. I debated and I'm playing. So £3. That's what we're chucking on this. Bet 2, 330 Air. They're both 6 runner races. That is coincidental more than anything else. Hale End 130 and Abduction 4-1. Going on to the 355 Chepstow. Connie's Rose 5-2. Jacqueline 5-1. 4 times 75p win doubles. On the shortest prices, you're probably looking. I think we're calculating about 3 and a bit times stake on that one. So it's something like that. So if we get either bigger ones, even better. But very simply, we need one of those horses to win each of those races. Doesn't matter what the other ones do. We need a winner in each. One winner in one or place in both does not do anything for us. We need a win in each race to get ourselves some level of return. That is what we're playing. I'm not planning to do lots of those sorts of bets. It's not. They don't come out in the star system, but when there's certain levels of tiers of bets I wouldn't normally put that on the channel, but I felt from a value perspective it was actually worth playing. And the 6 runners, although that's not, as I said, it's coincidental. It does help with the maths I've worked out on the bet. Okay, forecast. We've got a forecast. All right. Bet 3 is this one forecast 405 at Air. Pole Roger going on to Sophisticate that we've got in there at 40s. 50s is available as well on Sophisticate if you're quick on some bookies. Well, I say quick, I don't imagine it's going to. I don't imagine it'll get loads short, but we'll see. 50p reverse forecast. These 2 to come first and second. The last couple of forecasts. We've had a second and a non-runner and a second and a third. So we've been in the right ballpark, but we haven't quite got there. We will try this one. If this comes off, this is a lot more valuable than the last two I've tried. And I definitely worked out it was worth playing this one. There was quite a few marginal ones today, but this is the only one that hits the criteria that I'd happily put out on the channel. So we'll try our luck with a Paul Rogers about 4 to 1, 9 to 2, and a 50 to 1 shot, 40 to 1 shot, 50p reverse forecast. Okay, and then the last bet. So if all gone down, if we've had a nightmare at air, which is very possible at the prices we're playing with there, we could come out of that afternoon session with nothing. Then we've got 8.25 going on the evening on this. 6.40 Kempton, Arctician, and City of York. So Arctician, I think I've had that a number of times on the channel. 33s is a really good price. I think of all of the horses I've got out, although that's a really competitive race, that's the one with the most value in the odds of anything I'm putting out today. So Arctician at 33s, and then City of York, which previously talked about, we backed on Saturday and it came out the stalls and ran and left the jockey in. Yeah, that's worth playing too. So both those two starred in what is a very competitive race, but I think there's value in both those. Then going on to 6.50 Gowran Park, famous enough. Now we've got a bit of a deja vu on Sophisticate here, because we've got similar profile in the sense of this is the second run after an 18-month break. With famous enough, I think it was 5th of 14 over course and distance last time. I think it's 5th of 14 at Gowran Park. We're talking absolute dirt basement handicap here at Gowran for this. Like this horse is a mark of 40 or 41, right? You would rarely get a race in the UK where you could race off that mark. So 5th of 14, that was a decent enough run, right? And it was 18 to 1 after an 18-month layoff and a stable change. Now that tells me there was some level of feeling that horse would be okay on first time out. For running at 18 to 1 after a stable switch and 18 months off, to be 18 to 1 when it didn't have great form, makes me feel like there was some level of hope with it. Now, can it follow up again and basically get in first 5 potentially, as long as we've got 16 runners, or first 4? If you just based it purely on that form, it can do. If you look at the back form before it had the break, there was bits and pieces on decent ground where you could argue it would have done. So I think in a race where I struggled to find many angles, I think it was worth playing. So famous enough is in, and then we go 8-10 Kempton, many a star at 16s. Like most of the races at Kempton Wednesday night, really competitive, but it came out quite clear on star from a value point of view. Should be single figures in my book, so many a star 16s. So the bet: 5 times 35p each way doubles, 2 times 25p each way trebles. So that comes up to, that's 350, that's £1, so that's 450 for the accumulator bits. 50p each way singles on the bigger prices, and 75p win single on City of York. Sky are best for 1 or 2 of those races, extra places. Everyone else is about the same. That is it, right? So we've seen it all. What have we got? Like 22s, 40s, 50s, 28s, 233s, a 16, and a 10 to 1 shot. Okay, it is very, very real and possible we can walk away with nothing. But in a day like that, with prices like that, we don't need much to go right to try and to start getting ourselves a return. Now, I don't want to lose 21.75 on top of what we've already lost, but that might happen, and I'm prepared to roll the dice on that to find out. You guys make your own personal choices what you want to do. Nobody's forcing anyone to do anything on this channel. It's free will, right? And I know that there'll be people commenting about the nature of the bets, the selections, and that's fair enough, right? You know, I make my choices, you make your choices, right? So I know most people who follow along enjoy it, and it's not all about the winning and all that sort of stuff. It's fine. I don't want us to lose. That's kind of the key thing for me, really, to be honest, as well as out enjoying it. Don't want us to lose. But hopefully you'd agree, win, lose or draw, I've put together quite an interesting staking plan for the day there. We've got an afternoon Yankee with one of the races we've got a forecast on. We've got a separate win combination double going in the middle, and then got a couple of hours break, get yourself some tea, have some tea, and then sit back, and then you've got three races on in the early evening. Great, covered the whole thing. No chasing required there, folks. If the afternoon goes down, you've got a bet already lined up. You don't need to put any more on. All right. I think that's me. I think we'll call it a day on the vids there. Not forever, just for this one. I will be back. I'm expecting. I mean, Thursday. I'll see what I've got on Thursday. It doesn't look particularly obvious for a day on Thursday, and then the weekend. I'm having a mind blank. I can't remember what racing's like at the weekend. So we'll just cross that bridge when we get to it, and we'll see. And I will continue to pick the horses and the races that I think hit. The system ain't broke. We're on a bad patch, right? The system's relatively the same as it's been for many a year in my life. We've made some changes, and obviously now I talk about star ratings and stuff like that. They're not all different stars. That's where we got to. But what it does provide me is a threshold to say these ones are better than not, and the stats back up that where the horses are back over the threshold ultimately win out in the long term. It's clearly frustrating. There's days when that doesn't happen, not many of them, but they can be annoying. All right, thank you very much for all the ongoing support, and I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.